Hello guys and gamers, and welcome back to another video. As you might be reading from the title, I am indeed talking about Luigi's Mansion 4. But let's be honest, there is no new game announced. We don't know anything about Luigi's Mansion 4. This is just like an ideas video. Luigi's Mansion is a very popular series. The first game released on Nintendo GameCube. I think it was like around release. And it was a success. It sold like 3 million copies, which was very good for the GameCube days. GameCube is not the most successful Nintendo console. Nintendo itself, I think Nintendo thinks of GameCube as kind of a failure, so not like major sales. And we thought like it would just be like one time thing. Luigi's Mansion, it was a great game. Do you remember it? I don't remember it, blah blah blah. But then, like over 10 years later, we got a surprise sequel for Nintendo 3DS. Yes, Nintendo 3DS. We got Luigi's Mansion 2: The Dark Moon. And that was even more of a successful game than the first one, selling like 6.5 million. Yes, 6.5 million copies. And then people loved it. It was fun. It was fun. I don't think it was like as great as the first one, which is my favorite. Even though I've never finished the first one, I still prefer it over the other ones. And then we got like, hey, Luigi's Mansion can really be a thing. And then a few years later from there, we got Luigi's Mansion 3 for the Nintendo Switch. This is a German copy, so that's why there's a huge yellow sticker in there. I hate when they do that. It's really annoying. Messes up like the cool box art and everything. Anyways, Luigi's Mansion 3. We recently got the information that it has sold 11 million copies. So even more of a success than Luigi's Mansion 2. So it's really a franchise that is really growing. So me saying that there will be a fourth game is basically guaranteed. I'm not sure when this would come out. It might not be for the Switch, it might be for the Switch, but we might have to wait for another console to have. But I just want to talk about Luigi's Mansion and the ideas I have for a possible sequel whenever that comes. And first, let's talk about like a setting. I think a setting is more important, and then afterwards we will talk about gameplay ideas. But for the setting, I really liked the first Luigi's Mansion, where you just had one mansion. In Luigi's Mansion 2, they had multiple mansions, and in Luigi's Mansion 3, they had a hotel. And they eventually got really creative with like the setting in their games. Like a hotel sounds a bit boring, but when you consider they had like really exciting ideas for floors, you had like shopping centers, you had restaurants, okay, sure, fine. But then you also have like natural history museums where there's a possessed T-Rex ghost and movie studio floors and garden floors and all this exciting stuff. So they really got creative in the end. And I want to do something creative as well. At first, I was thinking an art gallery because in Luigi's Mansion, King Boo, the main bad guy, traps people in paintings. Like they're stuck in paintings. And I was thinking, hey, that sounds a lot like Mario 64, where you would jump into paintings. So you could have an art gallery where you would like jump into paintings, and those paintings would be like these exciting different worlds where you would have to solve puzzles and everything. And that would be cool. That would be cool. But one thing I really like about Luigi's Mansion 1 is that it's more non-linear than the other ones. You could go into one place, solve the puzzle there, get a key, and then you could, use that key any way you like. And then you would solve that puzzle in that room, and then you would just like solve things in a non-linear way, and I really liked just exploring that one mansion you had. But unfortunately, Luigi's Mansion 2 and 3 were a bit more like linear. You would get a key, but there would only be one place you could use that key in. And this is especially disappointing when I've been playing Luigi's Mansion 3 recently, when you have the ability like unlock these floors. And the floors unlock in a linear matter, like after you beat floor 7, you go to floor 8. It would have been so much cooler to have like, okay, after you beat level 7, you get a totally random number that you could unlock the floor in. So that would have been really cool. Of course, like in the beginning, have a bit of non-linearity, but after the first few floors, you would get like a random number floor unlocked. That would have been really cool, and I wish they did that. But that considered, I don't want this setting to be non-linear. And another setting I would think would be really cool to have is a ghost town. You know, a town full of ghosts, an abandoned town full of these boos and other kind of ghosts that Luigi's Mansion has. And I think that would be really something cool. I'm not sure if it would be like open world, like open area, like you could fully explore the town. This is Nintendo we're talking about. I'm a little doubtful they would do that. Of course, I would love to see it, but I'm doubtful they would. But I think they would just like give you a map, select a building, and do stuff there. But I still want to be non-linear, so you could go into any building at any time, and then you could find these unlockable things from these buildings that would unlock more things in other buildings, and then you would have like non-linearity and gameplay in there. And I am aware that Luigi's Mansion, it's not the target demographic is for Nintendo. It's all for all ages, you know. And for kids, too much non-linearity must be confusing, can be confusing, and sometimes just isn't confusing because children are smarter than we think. But it can be confusing. It can be confusing, but that's why you should build like a good hint system in there. Like have some path there, but you can select your own path, and wherever you go, you can progress the story a bit more. That would be something I would love to see. And then just making it non-linear would kind of make it a bit scarier, you know, at least in my opinion, because if it's too linear, I don't know, it just feels too safe. And while I know that Luigi's Mansion is not like a horror game, but I think it will just make like for kids it would be a bit like scarier. Oh, where do I go next? This is a bit frightening, and that is something I would love to see. But now let's move on to like the gameplay ideas. I have some really cool ideas for the gameplay, and the first thing I want to talk about is in Luigi's Mansion 1, they had this really cool mechanic when you would like suck up a fiery enemy with your, you know, poltergust, the vacuum cleaner that Luigi uses to, you know, suck up ghosts, be the ghostbuster in the situation. And then when you would suck up the fiery enemy, you had like fire stored in your vacuum cleaner. And when you would blow out the next time, you would blow out fire. It would kind of like be a flamethrower, which was really a cool idea. I don't remember if Luigi's Mansion 2 brought that back. I don't think it did, but it's been a while since I played it, so I might be wrong, and sorry if I am. But Luigi's Mansion 3, again, I have been playing it recently, certainly did nothing with that idea. And I think we could expand on that. You know, you could be able to store other things in like your vacuum cleaner. It could be objects, which would be really cool. It could be like materials, like fire, or maybe water. You could have some cool water storing puzzles in the game, or maybe like even electricity, mud, and you know, objects. And you could, it would be fun if you had like different storage units in there in your vacuum cleaner somehow, and then you could switch between those. So you could store multiple materials there. You could store a bit of fire. You could store a few objects and a bit of water in there. It would be really cool, and I think Luigi could do some really cool puzzles and stuff with that idea. Another idea I had in mind, because Luigi's Mansion 3 brought a few things to the picture. And I think Luigi's Mansion 2 had like the flashlight and the UV light that could expose hidden things. And Luigi's Mansion 3 had like the plunger, where you could attach that to things and pull those things or smash those things, whatever. But the big thing, of course, that Luigi's Mansion 3 had is in the box art. It is Luigi, this guy over here. And I was thinking, should Luigi return or should he be replaced by something? And I would go by replacing him, because I like Luigi, but I don't think he like fully fits the theme of Luigi's Mansion. And I would replace him by a ghost. Luigi has a ghost partner now. And I think the perfect way to do this would be the story begins with King Boo, the main baddie in Luigi's Mansion games, would kidnap Professor Egad, the scientist that made the poltergeist and, stores all of these ghosts somewhere. And that would, of course, be horrifying, but Egad has a trick up his sleeve. He can extract his soul from his body, so he can become a ghost, and that's why he can escape. Kimbo would still have his body, but Egad would escape and become a ghost, and then he would like seek out Luigi, give him access to another poltergeist, and then Luigi could set up on adventure to save Egad and probably other people too, to this ghost house or ghost town or art gallery, whatever the setting will be. And then like Egad would have like the same functionalities as Luigi. He could go through walls. He would not be affected by spikes, and just help Luigi pull some switches in some other places, and basically the same puzzles. But he could probably like float a bit too, which would be really cool, and do some extra stuff that Luigi couldn't. So it would be really exciting. It would be similar but expanded a bit, and would make more sense in the story, I guess. Luigi just kind of comes out of nowhere. It's fun, but it doesn't really fit the theme. And one thing else I have for gameplay is the multiplayer mode. And I think starting from Luigi's Mansion 2, they have had some sort of a multiplayer in Luigi's Mansion games. And one thing I want to kinda return is the Nintendo Land, which was a Wii U game. They had this really cool Luigi's Mansion themed minigame where one person was a ghost, and then there was like up to 4 other players, and the 4 other players were trying to find the ghost and suck him up, and then the ghost would like try to spook the other players and just make them like faint. And the interesting thing here was that the 4 other players, they could not see the ghost, but the ghost was like on the Wii U gamepad, and he could see everyone. So it was asymmetrical gameplay. It was really fun, and I would love that to return. I'm not sure if it will, because it would require multiple switches or just be online thing, and you can't really do this on one screen as a couch co-op thing, which is a bit a shame, but I would love to see it return. And that is basically all I have to say about Luigi's Mansion 4. What do you guys think? Would you be excited if Nintendo announced Luigi's Mansion 4? And what would you like to see in it? Are any of my ideas good? Do you hate them? Let me know in the comments down below. And I have nothing else to add here, so I will just see you guys next time. Bye bye.